Hi there, dance studio owners, and welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. For the next 6 weeks, we are doing something we have never done before, and we couldn't be more excited to announce that the incredible Kim McSwain is going to be taking over the podcast for the next 6 weeks. The exclusive podcast series will be hosted by the founder of Changing Lives, who's really one of the best in the world at transforming studio culture, curriculum, and getting students, teachers, staff, and parents excited about dance and your studio in a whole new way. Kim McSwain is just one of our extraordinary coaches inside the DSOA Inner Circle, where she delivers monthly live training as well as daily group support for our Inner Circle members. If you're loving this podcast series with Kim as much as we are, make sure to join the Inner Circle waitlist at dsoa.com/inner circle to get even more access to our world-class coaches. Now, on to today's podcast episode with the one and only Kim McSwain.
Hello, my podcast friends. My beautiful, foxy podcast friends. I'm doing it a little different today. I'm actually in my office with peace and quiet because the dogs, well, 2 of them are at the beauty shop and the other 3 are taking a nap in their room. So I'm completely silent and kid-free, which is amazing. Having a little coffee, a little cappuccino. I want to talk to you guys today, and I didn't even write anything down. I'm just going to talk because I went and taught some classes. And, I teach all levels, all ages, but very rarely, my jam is the littles because I love them. I think my specialty is the little kiddos, probably the 7, 8, 9. I love and am really great with the 11, 12, 13-year-old age. The teens, I can completely get through. I've always been scared of the adults because adults scare me. But I'm starting to get really great with the adults as well. And I went in and actually taught an adult class to a group of ladies. I will not say their name or who I taught them, but they are well known for being some of the most beautiful women in the United States and some of the classiest, most successful, and it is very hard to get on this team. Okay. So I went in, taught the class. When I finished the class, I thought to myself, you crushed that class, Kim. And the reason that I thought that is because when I was done, they were all surrounding me, okay? So it's like little kids when little kids don't want to leave you. So we're all talking, and I did the normal. I talked about, like I do at the end of all my classes, I gather everybody up. I talk about what I think that we could have worked on. One of the things that moving forward, I think that they need to work on and progress. Then I talked about what I thought they did really, really well. And then moving forward, some words of wisdom, what I wanted them to take from the class with me, just my normal. Then I was like, okay, great class, you guys. Thank you so much. They did not want to leave. One of the ladies actually said, I don't want to leave. This is so weird. I don't want to leave class. Can we keep going? And they just kind of stayed and we said our goodbyes. But that's one of the things that you want to look for and your teachers want to look for. Does the class cling to you? Do the little kids not want to leave? Do they say this is the best class ever? I don't want to leave this class. Do they come and hug you? Do they come and curtsy? Do they come and say all these things? Those are the things that you should be thriving for as a teacher. And when the class was over and it left and I was on such a high and I thought, wow, because we finished, the class was amazing. The class went amazing. And I thought to myself as I was driving home, what did I do? What am I consistently doing that I can tell my teachers and my friends at DSOA so that they can pass it along? What am I doing that's consistently making kids of all ages, teenagers, and now these adults cling to my class and cling to me? I read the room really, really well. And I have a little something in my throat. Goodness gracious. I read the room really well. And when I walk in, my first goal is how can I make everybody as comfortable as possible, as quick as possible, right? So when I'm walking in the room, whether they're 5, 6, 7, or 7, 8, 9, or 11, 12, 13, or then we got the older kids or whatever. How do I walk in and make that room as comfortable as possible? Well, I'm going to go in. Most of the time, the kids don't know me, so I have to introduce myself each time, right? Now, if you see me walk in a class, you're going to notice that I look like I have split personalities, usually walking from a convention room to a convention room to a convention room, or with Changing Lives, walking from a beginner room to an intermediate to an advanced room, or a biddy room to a junior room or senior room, something like that. But you see that I adapt completely. Like my voice adapts, what I'm talking about adapts, the way I dress adapts sometimes. Everything adapts to make sure that that room feels comfortable and I am adapting to it. So when I walked into this room, I'm in a room full of the most gorgeous girls ever. I want them to trust me. I need them to feel that they like me. I want them to feel that they can respect me immediately. So I just kind of go in and I'm looking at their eyes. Who's first? Who's first and foremost up in the front? Who's warming up? Who is taking a little bit more time at their bag? Who is looking back at me, looking me up and down? Who I'm watching and reading all these body languages, right? Same thing with little kids. Who's the first to get my attention? Who's stretching to make sure that I'm seeing them? Who is talking in the back? Who is doing cartwheels in the back? I'm reading all these things. How am I going to get every one of these kids to like me? Right? So it's kind of like really quick. You're just reading, okay, I'm going to need more. I'm going to need to be more authoritative with her. I'm going to need to be more loving with her. I'm going to need to be more friendly with her. I need to wrangle all these people in. Well, with kids, let's talk about some different scenarios. I walk into the little kid class. I sit down. I get completely on their level. I'm like, hello, I am Miss Kim and you're going to love me. I live on a farm in Texas, a huge farm. I have so many animals. I have 2 horses. I have a goat. I have 9 chickens and ducks. I have 2 cats. I have all of these dogs. I'm making this up. This is not true, right? But they love it. They're engaged. They're looking at me like I'm the greatest person on earth. I'm so animated, like I am right now by myself. And I go on, I'm like, I have a horse. His name's Popcorn. I have another one named Sausage because he's a little bit on the fluffy side. I have a pig named Bacon. I have all my animals, and we'll go over those later. I'll let you meet them. I'm doing all this, and these kids are like, this is the greatest teacher I've ever met in my life. Right? But I walk into this older ladies class, and I'm like, listen, my name is Kim. I think you're going to like me because I already like you guys. And I just want you to remember why you love dancing today. And you're going to get no judgment from me here. I am much older than you, and I've been where you're at. I want you to know that you don't have to be perfect for me in my class. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for you to give me everything that you've got and just drop all your insecurities for me if you can at the door. And let's just make this hour and a half the greatest because we deserve it, if that's okay with you guys. And they were like, yeah. And so I do that, and I make that space as comfortable as possible, non-judgmental, and I want them to feel safe. I want everybody to feel safe. With the teenagers, I go in, I'm a little bit more funny. I'm like, hey, my name's Kim. I'm pretty funny. You're going to like me a lot. You are in a safe space here. I want you to know that I don't care if you guys are best friends. I don't know who the best dancer is here. I don't really care who the best dancer is, but you're going to be my team for the next hour and a half, if that's cool. And I'm going to teach you and train you the way that I teach my dancers. And I'm going to be pretty hard on you. It comes from a really kind place. And I want you to know that I like everybody in the world. You'll never hear me say an unkind word about anybody. So if I want you to be full out, I want you to be 100%, know that I'm going to love everything that you do. And let's just dance our face off. Can we do that? And that's kind of the approach I take with them. Once I do that and I see the way that they react to me, then I determine my end goal of class. I've already decided what I want to work with them on. I know when I'm coming in, am I doing technique? Am I doing a movement class? Am I doing a curriculum class with you guys? Am I doing something for you guys to watch? I know what I want to do, but until I walk into that class and meet everybody and read the body language and see what the atmosphere is like, then I can determine my end goal as far as how far I can push them. Does that make sense? How much I'm going to be able to get out of them, how much I can push them, how much I want them to feel, how much confidence I can get out of them. That's when I can decide. And then from there, I'm just going to up the volume and the energy, the vibe, the intensity, and see how far can I push them in an hour. So, I mean, most of the times you have an hour and a half for class, which is fantastic because an hour is just nothing in 45 minutes. Are you kidding me when you've just met somebody? But for an hour, you've got a lot of work to do in there. And this is like each time you meet them, you have to start all over again. That's what it feels like, right? Because these kids don't just come in and start from go. It's almost like you have to warm them up. You have to get them to remember how to dance. You have to get them to remember what you expected them. You have to get them to remember all these things. But you have to also never lower your bar, never lower your standard, right? And they have to, and you might have to remind them at the end of the beginning of class, hey, what are we doing? This is where we start. This is where we're dancing. But until you can get them to feel that end result and know that that's going to be their starting point next time, you're not going to be able to get them there. So it's going to take a lot of love at the beginning. It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of trust. It's going to take a lot of kind of grooming, placement, timing, coddling, rubbing their head, getting them there. Then you can start training them and they will give you that every single time. You want to teach them to end on a high. They want to be on the highest level that they can be when they end that class so that they just want it every single time. Does that make sense? They leave wanting more and more and more. And that's what I did with these girls. You know, I did that whole thing that we've talked about where you write your fear down. Where you write, okay, what am I afraid of in class? What am I afraid of? Why am I not going full out? Why am I not giving ever 100%? Why am I not leaving my insecurities? What am I afraid of? And what's so crazy, you guys, and this is what we're going to talk about too, not only when I found out why I'm reading the room and I'm crushing the class, I'm still getting the end results. And this is the second thing I want to talk to you guys about. Guess what I found out? I found out that we have another pandemic. And it's not COVID. It's insecurity. It's a low self-esteem. It's a low self-body image. It's no confidence. And this is happening from the little kids all the way up until 25 to 30-year-old women. Because that's what I was getting from them. They're afraid of. One of the girls wrote, I'm afraid of being too much. One of the girls wrote, I'm afraid that I don't deserve the success that I have. I'm afraid that being vulnerable, the fear of being vulnerable is way too strong than the fear of letting go. I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of what people think of me. I'm afraid of not being good enough. I'm afraid all of these things that these girls, these women at 25, 26, 27, 22, 20 years old were writing down on this wall are the same things that I get from kids that are 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. So what are we doing as teachers and what have we done as teachers that has developed women that are this insecure and this they look at themselves and they don't see brilliant. They don't see excellent. They don't see beautiful. They don't see kind. They don't see willing. They don't see able. This is a problem for me. This is a huge problem for me. And this is the reason that I quit my job and started this company. Because I see it as a huge pandemic, and this is a huge problem, and this is huge all over the world for young women. Because people are not reading the room. People are not working from the inside out. Teachers are not caring about more than just steps. Did they leave feeling confident? Yes, we can teach. Yes, we can teach all day long. But are we creating some sort of confidence and building some sort of self-esteem and some sort of empowerment in these children, in these young girls, so that they can leave us at 18 years old and go off and conquer the world and do something great? Are we? I know that I am. I promise you that. I promise you that everybody leaves my class feeling inspired. I can promise you that. Nobody has ever left my class feeling defeated. I hope not. And if they did, then they must have not heard the words that were coming out of my mouth. So I think, how do we do this? How do we as studio owners empower our teachers to go on and empower our students that can then go on and empower their parents? And that's so funny to say that, right? To go on and empower their parents. My kids empower me every day. Every day. My 14-year-old is the coolest person on earth. My 8-year-old has absolutely no fear. We've got to get on top of this, you guys. We absolutely have to. So here's what we have to do. Studio owners, we've talked about having no fear. We've talked about not dealing with drama. We've talked about being great. But here's what we have to do. Going back into this, can we start worrying about confidence? Are we building these kids up? That's the number one goal. That's the new thing I'm going to be talking about. Because when I'm looking at these dancers that are supposed to be the most beautiful dance women on earth, the most confident, successful, incredible women that fly and move across the country to be on this team. And they are full of insecurity, self-doubt, no confidence, crying in my class. Can you come work with us on a regular basis? Because we've never felt this great about ourselves. Then what is going on in this world? I can't. So here's what we're going to do. When we give these kids corrections, we're going to finish with telling them how great they are. And I think a lot of times with teachers, maybe it comes from insecurity in the teachers themselves. Maybe it's something, maybe their teacher, a lot of these teachers teach from negativity or from a scare tactic. A lot of them come from that. A lot of us come from that, from old school. My teacher didn't teach me that way. But look at this. Look what's on television, you guys. Come on now. There's not a famous television about dance schools that teach with positive reinforcement, that teach. I don't have my own TV show. I don't have my own TV show because I'm the best kid teacher on earth that teaches with positivity and fun and laughter and hugs and kisses, and the kids leave feeling great and go on to do great things in the world. No, it's a woman that degrades kids and makes them cry and yells in people's faces. Come on now. And so I think that what we need to do is we need to remember that dance is joy and dance is happy and dance is great and dance is all the good things. And why are we allowing any sort of crap to come into this at all? We can't. We're not going to. It's almost like we need to be more protective of our studio. And it's not the actual physical things, big scary things that come into our studio, actual men that come into our studio, actual people that come to our studio, actual violence that comes into our studio. But what about the words? What about the feelings? What about the atmosphere? What about all that? Why don't we be a little bit more protective of the studio and what comes into that space for those kids, right? I think we can. I think that's a great idea. So let's kind of go back and talk about this reading the room. Number one, you read the room. Number two, you make everyone feel comfortable as fast as possible. Lighten the mood. Lighten the mood just a little bit. Even if you know your students, you don't just walk in and turn the music on. Hi guys, how are you? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm having the best day ever. I cannot wait to start class today. Today's going to be a little bit tougher. Get your mind right. Let's get it set. Let's be awesome. I hope you left all the bad stuff at the door. Get ready to work. Get your mind right. Let's do this. Start the class right. Make sure everybody's on your same page. Make yourself likable and relatable. How can you relate to those kids? How can they relate to you? You've gone in somewhere and you've maybe a hairdresser you didn't like, maybe a nail technician you didn't like, maybe a doctor you didn't like, maybe somebody rubbed you the wrong way at an office. You know how that feels. Be likable, be relatable. Make the spaces comfortable and non-judgmental as safe. Tell them that that's what it's going to be. You let everybody know that there is not going to be any judgment. It's not accepted and it's safe there. Determine your end goal of class. What's it going to be? Is that little girl that's in the back with her arms folded, is she going to leave in the front of the class smiling? Is that your end goal for class? Let's up the volume and the energy, the vibe, the intensity, every single group. Let's keep going. Let's push harder. Let's get us some sweat out, right? Somebody's falling in class today. Let's do it. Something's happening. Come on. How far can you push that class? How far can you push those kids? End on a high. In them wanting more. So much more that they don't want to leave your class, right? Have them surrounding. We don't want to leave class. You have to leave class. You have to get out. I'll see you next week. And then remember, we have to end this pandemic. We have to, not COVID, not that. That's going away. We're coming back. We're coming back stronger than ever. And we're going to end this other one of insecurity, self-doubt, low self-esteem. Because we are going to be the ones to lift these kids up every single time we see them. Every single time. Because we have that choice, we have that option, we have that power, and we can do this. I'm doing it. I'm changing the world. And you know what? Look at this. I have this sign right here on my desk. The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. That's me. I want to change the dance world. Who's in? Who's in? I hope you guys are in it with me. Have an awesome day.
We hope you enjoyed today's special episode of the Transform My Dance Studio podcast with guest host Kim McSwain. Don't forget to join our Inner Circle waitlist at dsoa.com/innercircle for even more access to our world-class coaching team. You can also join us over in the Dance Studio Owners Association Facebook group for more resources and support in growing the dance studio of your dreams while reclaiming your life.